the Gamecentral podcast. Hadouken!
Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Gamecentral podcast. The first person joining me tonight owns a beard and a full head of hair that would belong in any of Tolkien's fantasy films. His name is Gareth.
Always a pleasure.
And last, but by all means least, a man who requires no introduction because no one cares, but I'm polite enough to give him one anyway. He is the kind of guy who would walk into any game shop, pick up a Nintendo Wii U games case, unbutton his trousers, and stretch his scrotal sack across it taut and suck in all the information that the game has to offer, and then look at any female shop staff in the distance and dribble down his front, and then proclaim that he would like to buy this game. It's Guy Whitlock.
Good evening.
Hello, Guy. How are you today?
I'm good.
And Gareth, I presume that you're good.
Yeah, I was described as Tolkien-esque. I couldn't be better.
Tolkien-esque, which is something that you've always wanted to be referred to as.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so, you know, your dream's been made true tonight, and to a certain extent, Guy, yours has as well.
No, I'm just wondering how you found out.
Well, you know, there's security cameras and footage on YouTube.
Oh.
You're known as the scrotal sack dribbler in your parts. But anyway, on to the Game Central. Well, my name's Rob.
You're Rob.
Before we go any further, you know, I'm not just some disembodied voice that's an AI computer that Guy and Gareth talked to. Last week I had man flu, which wasn't very nice. Mm-hmm. This week I've got maybe 10% man flu, just in the upper canals of my sinuses. But I will not be having any more coughing fits or anything else like that. Okay, guys, so you don't have to worry about me kind of going along tonight and just start coughing and then you guys getting scared or anything.
Yeah, there was a version of last week's podcast where I edited every single cough out and inserted like a funny noise. But I was tearing...
Well, why didn't you use that? That must have took you quite a while to do.
I was tearing my hair out because it was fucking well annoying to do.
Well, why didn't you?
It was really hard, and I didn't do it in the end.
You didn't use the cactus porn jingle either, did you?
No, that's definitely got coming this week.
The problem with that jingle is it's actually incredibly loud, so I can't just insert it in. I have to edit it for it to be listed.
I mean, Gareth, we can give people a pre-warning to turn down their music, or if they do like cactus porn, turn it up even louder. Turn it up to 11.
Alright, well, you just tell me where you want me to insert the cactus porn jingle.
Excellent.
Shall we get on with it? And
I think we should with
porn.
News. Okay, guys, Microsoft buy the rights to the Gears of War series, so it will stay an Xbox exclusive. Is Gears still relevant? Can it reinvent itself with the next instalment? And does anyone still care? Guy!
Well, I don't really care. To be honest, I thought it was a Microsoft exclusive anyway, to be honest. Well, it is. It hasn't been on any other consoles, has it, yet?
It's not, no.
PC?
Well, then this whole news article is kind of irrelevant, really, isn't it? Nothing's changing, so...
Nothing's changing, but it's showing that Epic are no longer going to be working on the series.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Like, Epic were the ones who took it from nothing and made it into one of the most popular series ever.
Well, I think as the games have gone on, the last one wasn't that well received, was it? Wasn't they didn't change the formula?
But that wasn't Epic.
Was that not Epic?
That was People Can Fly. People Can Fly, the makers of the rather excellent Bulletstorm.
It is. Bulletstorm's fantastic.
Well, no, I assumed it was always going to be on Xbox anyway, so...
Well, I think that's what we can assume, because, you know, it's an Xbox brand. It's so... the identity behind it, Gears of War is Xbox, you know, big, American, it's brash, it's action packed, and if there ever was a game to go hand in hand with the kind of way that they wanted to show it, Microsoft, then it was. Cliffy B coming out with the kind of jock personality. He's left Epic. But, when it was originally shown, Gears of War, I've got to admit, it was the first game that made me think, wow, the next generation is here. I don't know about you guys, if you remember seeing it at E3.
Okay.
Well, I'm just going to come right out and say I think I've played about maybe 10 minutes of a Gears of War game once.
Oh.
So.
Okay, so you played 10 minutes of a Gears of War game once. How about you, Gareth? Where do you live in the whole Gears of War universe?
I love Gears of War. I haven't played Judgment because I kind of cared about the story in the first 3, and the story was done, so I didn't really mind that it was a spin-off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fucking love Gears of War. I didn't, because obviously I got my Xbox probably about halfway through the Xbox's life cycle, so I didn't get to play it when it first came out. So it meant one of the first things I did with my Xbox was bought Gears 1 and 2 and just marathoned them both and loved it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of my first ever jump into this, last gen gaming was Gears of War for me. So it's always a bit special.
Yeah, so, with Gears of War with me, I've always been pretty impressed by, I think it's the scale of the games, and it was always the benchmark of the graphics. And, Gears of War 1 set a benchmark, Gears of War 2 hired it, Gears of War 3 hired it still. And, I don't think it was about the storytelling, because you had people like Dom, who in Gears of War 1 seemed like a bit of a hard ass, but then in Gears of War 2 he started bitching about his wife. She came out of nowhere, and suddenly he couldn't live with himself, and he kept thinking about her all the time. This is craziness. And then in Gears of War 3, he's grown quite a fetching beard. But, apparently that shows that he's going downhill. And if that means you're going downhill, Gareth, then I'm going downhill because I've got a pretty fabulous beard on me at the moment.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
But I was quite glad when he decided to drive his the truck and commit suicide.
Well, we didn't say spoilers before we started this. That seems like it's probably...
I think, Gareth, that we should just take it for granted that people would have played it by now.
Okay. Fair enough.
So,
it's
you are going to come across spoilers.
It's a slippery slope, but okay.
But I think he needlessly sacrificed his life. Because if you look at it, it wasn't really a very hard predicament for them to get out of. It's nothing that they haven't gotten out of before. They were just on top of a building and they were getting assaulted from all sides. But I think... Sorry.
You're right.
Just getting a bit emotional, remembering how he gave his life so that all the others could survive. All those great guys with great personalities. They're not one-dimensional. They've got backgrounds. And he just couldn't live without Maria anymore. He even had a tattoo of her on his arm. R.I.P. Dom. So, yeah. It's going to be absolutely brilliant to see what they can do on the Xbox One. But like I say, I never really looked forward to Gears of War for the story element, or, I need to find out how Dom feels about losing his wife in the next installment. It was more of, I want to see what Epic can squeeze out of the Xbox 360 this time. And it's going to be the same on the Xbox One. I'm going to get it because I want to see what they're going to be able to. And apparently it's going to be like one of the first games to use the Unreal Engine 4. So that's going to be brilliant. So you could say, Guy, that you don't care.
Yep. No, I don't care.
Don't care at all.
Gareth,
no, you maybe care a little bit.
I'm actually pretty excited.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I care quite a bit, but not because I want to know how the story continues, like I said. I just like the concept of it. I like the world. I like the... just the combat feels really good. And it was one of the first games to get that kind of combat right in a third-person shooter. I don't know if any of you played Kill Switch.
I didn't know.
On the PS2. really good game. I think it didn't get as much recognition as it should have done for that cover mechanic. You could do blind fire, you could do all the things you can do in Gears, but I don't think it was really ever outwardly mentioned by the Gears of War development team that they'd taken the elements. But if you have a look on YouTube or research it on Google, Guy, you will actually see a lot of similarities, and it's really good.
That's cool.
Right, so anyone else got anything else to say about Gears of War?
I'm mainly curious to see what they do with the story. Like, Gears of War 3 wrapped up everything in a pretty nice little bow. Like, that story's over. I want to see
and you got to see Marcus's hair, didn't you? Which is what I wanted to do.
I'm wondering if they'll do something like make it hundreds of years in the future, something crazy, because it can't just follow on from the third one. The war's over.
Well, that would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Like just walking along with Marcus, meet up with Damon Baird and Coltrane, just have a little chat.
Gears of Peace.
And go home. Gears of that is what it could be called. Gears of Peace. And they could just go around. It could be like a kind of The Sims.
That would be interesting. I'll give you that.
That would be interesting.
Sims
but
of
obviously,
War.
Sims of War.
Yeah.
Sims of Peace. Guy, we've already decided on that.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so Gears of War, we're feeling quite. There's quite a promise behind it, but we need to see what the new development team are going to bring to it. Is it going to be a reboot? Is it going to be a tale told from another point of view? But like you say, Gareth, I think that story's been done to death now. I think they've explored it. We need to get away from Emergence Day and just get into something else, really.
Definitely.
Boom. Is it now time, Guy, to invest in a Vita? As you can now pick up a Vita for around £100. Is it time to finally take the plunge on the handheld, or does its lack of games still hold it back? Guy, tell us how you're feeling about this at the moment, because boasting around on Facebook like you're some kind of pimp with your pay rise. Yeah? So, girls, hey girls, look at me, I've got a pay rise. I might go out and buy a Vita, I might go out and buy a Ferrari. We just don't know what Guy's going to do with his pay rise.
Well, it's not even that impressive, but it's fine. No need for your sarcastic undertones.
I'm not being sarcastic, Guy.
Well.
When someone mentions that they've got a pay rise, everyone sits up and takes notice of that guy.
Okay. It's just because I was thinking about getting a Vita the other week, actually. Well, not getting one, because I couldn't afford one. But
I think that's the thing.
Anyway,
everyone thinks of getting a Vita. Like, everyone thinks about it. But, Guy, tell us what is holding you back right now.
What I was actually holding out for, I was hoping the Vita TV was going to get released over here sometime this year, and I wanted to get one of them instead of paying more for a PS Vita. Because really, the only exclusives I'm really that bothered about is Persona, and maybe some of the other more like the handheld versions of games like Killzone don't really interest me because I had a PSP, and I realised then that the Sony handhelds aren't for me.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone really liked the PSP that much, did they?
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk. I've actually got a PS Vita. I wanted one for quite a while because I quite liked it and I liked the idea of it. And, I got one and I'm still undecided. I love it, but there's just potential there. And, the PS Vita TV, I can see the concept, but I think it kind of defeats the whole purpose. If you've got a PS3 or an Xbox 360, I don't think you particularly need it. The whole point in a Vita is having it on you on the bus, having it on you on the train. I like to know that I've got my PS Vita in my bag if I need it. I'll very rarely play with it. But, there's, like you say, PS Plus is great than Vita. Like, I got the console or the handheld straight away. I have access to likes of Uncharted and Gravity Rush. It's like paying a prostitute for straight sex. And then suddenly she just turns around and starts giving you all these extras for nothing. I think there is a better analogy, but I can't think of any that come to mind. And when I try and access my brain, it just spurts out things like that. But you see what I mean. And I've done Uncharted. I've done Gravity Rush. Like you say, Persona. I've played that, but I'm not really into RPGs. And while I like the social aspects of hanging around in a school, um, without getting arrested, I like Dragon's Crown, but I'm a bit stuck in that at the moment. I'm playing Lone Survivor as well. I played Hotline Miami, and it's a good place to get all these little downloadable games, these indie games as well. I think it's a real good platform for that.
Well, that's the thing for me. I'm not really that sort of. I'm not one of those guys that takes their handheld consoles out and plays them on the bus. I haven't taken my 3DS out of the house in months because it would get stolen where I live. I'd get beaten for it. So
Yeah,
I said not to.
yeah. I mean, Dragon's Crown, I love that. But more importantly, it's very erotic. I saw some reviews which stated that the women were all out of proportion. But my girlfriend has a small waist and a massive arse, so I know it's scientifically possible. But it's like a bee. If you look at a bee, the size of its wings in proportion to its body, it doesn't make sense. But, there's some very, very gorgeous artwork in that game. And, just because it's a little bit erotic or whatever. And it's the same with the Vita. Like, I know it's sexy, I know it's powerful, and I keep it in my bag at all times. I don't play with it much, but I know it's there if I need it. Like, if I need a gun or something. I had a 3DS. Don't get me wrong, I liked it. But I didn't feel like a hard man having it in my bag. It didn't feel like a sexy piece of technology. And, I can watch films and stuff on the Vita. But yeah, I would say when you get a Vita, you have to realise what you're getting. There's a lot of people out there, right, I've got a Vita, what shall I get? People commenting, Uncharted, Assassin's Creed. While that's all good, what you're getting is a cut down version of the big console games that you love. Mm-hmm. It's like, you go to the cinema to see, I don't know, Fast and the Furious, but then you get a straight to video version of Fast and the Furious 10. Yeah. It's that kind of thing. It's Uncharted as far as you know it. It looks like Uncharted, it plays like Uncharted, but it hasn't got that dramatic things you can get on the console sitting in front of your TV screen with a big sound system on loud. You get basically what is very basic versions of Assassin's Creed, Killzone. You're never going to get the big console experience, and I think as long as you go in there with that in mind, then you won't be too disappointed. But don't look for the big obvious games for you to get your fun with. Have a look at the likes of Dragon's Crown. I mean, I really liked Virtual Tennis. I didn't think I was going to like Virtual Tennis, but I used to enjoy it, and it's perfect on a handheld console. Yeah. So, Gareth, I don't know where you've probably bought a PS Vita, but no games for it.
No, I have no intention of ever getting a Vita. It just straddles the middle ground too much. Like, if you want a console-style game, you'll get a console, and if you want something more handheld, you'll just already probably have a DS. Like, for me, the DS was basically the perfect handheld. Like, there were so many games. You bought a DS, it was an embarrassment of riches, the amount of games you could buy.
Yeah, that was a real golden era, wasn't it? Oh.
Yeah, Advance Wars, Lunar Knights, Phantom Hourglass. What?
I said, Advance Wars, that was the best game ever.
It's such a good game, and it's like that. That's only available, really, on a Nintendo handheld.
But it's what I'm saying, Gareth. Those games you've just mentioned are made for the handheld. Like Advance Wars, as good as it is, I love it. I couldn't sit at home really playing it on the Xbox 360.
No.
It's built for handheld. And that's what makes them so successful, that they're brilliant. I had it on Game Boy Advance, that Black Hole Rising.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant game, but it's because it was designed specifically. And I think sometimes developers get a bit out of their reach by trying to reach something that's not possible rather than go into the actual specifics of what that handheld can give you.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of, indie games out for the Vita, which are a bit of a draw, but indie games are everywhere now. You just play that game on the PC or the PS4, I guess, coming soon, just as easily as you can a Vita. It doesn't offer anything bonus to the experience other than you get to use your Vita.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you've wasted money, which you have, because I just don't get the Vita at all.
Well, I don't necessarily think it's a waste of money, though, because you're looking at around £100, which isn't a lot really in this day and age. And for the technology you get for that price, I think it's really good. You know, it's got a great camera on there. There's video recording things. You know, there's a gyroscope in there. For people that don't know, that's not a weapon. That's kind of like something that tracks your movement. You know, there's a panoramic camera. You know, there's a lot of technology in there for your money.
Is all that really necessary for a handheld?
Exactly.
It's not, but for games like Tearaway, which you probably would quite like, you know, it's kind of quite good. You know, they use it to the full. Do you need them things on there? Probably not for the way people are developing games at the moment. But if you get someone with a little bit of imagination, you know, then, you know, the Vita could be a lot better. But at the moment, you haven't got studios that are looking to take advantage of its unique abilities. You know, they just want to put on stuff.
The biggest thing I don't get is the touchpad.
The back.
What, at the back?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just I don't know.
I mean,
I think Sony just haven't got the right idea for developing handhelds.
But I don't think that's the case, Guy, because, you know, it's there. It doesn't force you to use the touchpad. The touchpad's there for developers if they want to use it, you know. And there's not a game I've come across where it uses it particularly well. But again, like I say, it's not hurting anyone it being there. It's not like it's awful when you touch it. Sort of glue or some sort of slime goes down your hand. You won't even notice it's there. It's just built into the back of it.
I think they're sort of trying to make it into a. You're meant to be getting like home console quality games on handheld, which is fine, but a touchpad and stuff is they're instruments designed for casual, like fun games, not.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They haven't got the market. You know, Donna, who's got 3 kids. She probably doesn't know that much about the PS Vita, and you know, we talk about the Wii U and how its unique features haven't been communicated with its audience. The PS Vita is probably even worse in that regard.
But are any of its features really unique?
I wouldn't say they're unique, but in the right hands of the right developer, they could be used brilliantly. You know, you need someone like Kojima to bring out stuff like this.
Yeah.
You know, he could probably do something great with a touchpad. You know, in Uncharted, you can use the gyroscope to move your PS Vita up and down, to move the sniper scope, which is brilliant, you know?
That sounds
and it
awful.
Does feel good. No, it sounds awful, Gareth, but the precision is brilliant. You know, it's like one for one.
But would you do it on the bus?
No, I wouldn't do it on the bus because people probably think you're crazy. But, you know, there's a lot of things I wouldn't do on the bus that I have done before. But, you know. But, yeah, I think the PS Vita, I think it's got a bad reputation. It's not even the whipping boy anymore because it's gone so far past being the whipping boy that it's a bit unfair to take the mick out of it. Yeah. You know, where it seems like you're kicking it when it's down. People just seem to walk away from it. And it's because the developers didn't get behind it. You know, it costs a lot of money to develop a game for that system. And when there's not a large install base, trying to get back the money that you've outlaid on it, I think it's too powerful for its own good. Yeah. And I think that's the problem. How are you supposed to convince a studio to make a game exclusively for the Vita when it costs many millions of pounds? You know, they're quite graphically advanced and very good. But at the same time, I think that works against the Vita in that you're not going to get studios that are going to make an Uncharted, a Killzone, an Assassin's Creed. You know, we're not going to see many of those games. And I think Call of Duty hurt it a lot because I don't know if you guys saw Call of Duty in action.
Yeah.
But the frame rate...
I haven't actually seen it, but isn't it meant to be just an appalling game? It's
an appalling game. And, you know, it didn't do the Vita any hope at all. You know, there was a little bit of a pickup in sales, but I think as soon as it was advertised and it was billed as, you know, play Call of Duty anywhere, play it on your console, and then carry on the battle when you're on the bus over Wi-Fi. You know, but they've sold that to people. People have seen it, and they've just not liked it because they thought, hang on a minute, the frames of animation are ridiculous. I don't know if you played any of the Resident Evil Mercenary games on the 3DS.
Yeah.
I've played the mode on Resident Evil 5 and 4, but not the 3DS version.
Yeah, but on the 3DS version, the characters that were a little further away kind of moved in stop-gap animation. They didn't have any frames of animation, and that was the problem on the Vita for Call of Duty. So it was a real missed opportunity, and I don't think they're going to be able to claw their way back now because, like I say, it's going to cost millions of pounds to develop a game for the Vita, and there's not the audience there to make back anything you put out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame.
Guy, I would suggest getting one. I don't think you'll regret it.
If Guy comes on next week and says I bought a Vita but I still have this shitty microphone, I will be annoyed.
I would have bought one by next week anyway. I got other stuff to buy.
Are you at what with your pay rise?
Yep.
Going back off into your pay rise.
Yeah. Oh, you're the one that keeps bringing it up.
Thank you very much. Right. So, any other thoughts? Does anyone want to interject now and just come to the Vita's defence, or
no one defends a console?
I think.
Well, no, I don't know.
Sorry, you can go, Guy. You can go.
Get one, but stuff like Final Fantasy X and Dragon's Crown and stuff that I would play on it, I can just get on PS3.
And that's another point. Yeah.
That's most of the games apart from Persona 4 that I'm really looking forward to on it are on PlayStation as well. So
yeah,
that works against it really for me.
It's pretty big against
really.
As well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Hello everyone, this is Gareth here. You may recognise me from this very podcast that you're listening to right now. I've come here on my own, away from the other guys, to spread a little message about video game soundtracks and music thereof. If you go to gamebanter.co.uk right now, at the front of the site you'll see a news post that I've done about the Classic FM Hall of Fame. It's a thing Classic FM do each year, where they try to compile the top 300 best classical pieces of music of all time. The past few years, we've managed to get some video game music in there, and last year we actually had 2 pieces in the top 5 classical pieces of all time. We had the Elder Scrolls games came in at number 5. And Final Fantasy game came in at number 3. So we did really well last year, and it would be awesome if we could do even better this year. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to start doing it each week. I'm going to get a bit of video game music for you to listen to, just put it in the middle of the podcast, so you can sort of hear and appreciate the kinds of scores that we have in video games. Maybe ones that you wouldn't expect, maybe not even classical scores, just cool music from video games. I'm going to try and feature one a week, at least while this Classic FM while the Classic FM vote is going on, and just to kind of keep in everybody's minds that we can really get video game music recognised as up there with the greats, up there with your classic film scores like your Indiana Jones score, Star Wars score, and right up there with the likes of Mozart and Tchaikovsky. So please go on the website, again, gamebanter.co.uk, and check out the post that I've done, give you instructions on how to vote. And now, I'm going to give you the pleasure of listening to Wings of Liberty from the StarCraft 2 soundtrack. Just a bit of an orchestral piece to give you an idea of the kinds of music that video games produce and how great they can be. Thank you for your time.
So, the next part is obviously our retro game of the week. We put a poll out there at the moment. We had the choices between. Knocked my cup over. I love doing that. I just, it was on the arm of the chair, and I've just pushed it over onto my lap, which is quite nice. But I'm going to just sit here and enjoy it rather than let it wind me up. Okay. So it was a choice between Resident Evil 2, Mario Kart N64, and Beautiful Joe. All great games in their own right.
Yep.
But the winner, with some clear daylight, was the excellent Resident Evil 2, which obviously, I know, Guy, you're a massive fan. So if you'd like to take the lead on this and just let us know what you thought.
I honestly, that wasn't the one with Nemesis, was it?
No, that was Resident Evil 3.
That was a Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
Yeah.
Well,
Not featuring Nemesis because he was in Resident Evil 2.
Which one was 2? I might have played it a bit at some point, but I can't remember.
Leon Kennedy.
Lovely hair. Terrible first day on the job.
I've played 1, a bit of 3, and Code Veronica, and then 4. So nope.
Excellent, Gareth.
I'll just sit here in silence for the next 5 minutes.
I've not played it, but I know the story and the gameplay.
Yeah.
It came out way into my Gaz is a pussy phase, so I never went anywhere near Resident Evil. You
just weren't ready for it at all when it came out.
Exactly. I was but a young bairn.
A young bairn.
Aye.
Young bairn shouldn't go near Resident Evil 2.
No.
But I tell you what, Resident Evil 2, when I first got it, it wasn't actually mine, it was my friend's PlayStation, and we went to school together. And I said to my Dad, my friend said I could borrow his PlayStation. And obviously my dad knew that I was a bit of an clumsy person, as you just noticed as I poured water all down my lap. Obviously he saw me borrowing someone else's computer game console, which is worth up to £300. That was a bad idea because my friend was going on holiday. Needless to say, I sneaked it into my bag at school and took it home. And in that bag as well was Resident Evil 2. I just remember putting it on, and it was very cinematic at the time, and I was quite young myself. Can't remember how old I was actually. I think it was 98 maybe. Would you like to look that up, Guy? Guy, only you have access to Google.
I will do so now.
Okay.
All right.
Resident Evil 2, 98 I believe, 97, 98. Resident Evil 2, what not a lot of people
1998.
Excellent, bang on.
Good memory.
Right, so it was originally supposed to be a kind of two-player thing. There's another, if you look up on the internet, there's a game that was supposed to be Resident Evil 2, which didn't actually come to light. It didn't originally have Claire with Redfield. It had some other woman in it, and that was almost close to completion, where Leon and her were going to go and destroy the Umbrella Corporation, but that didn't come along. But Resident Evil 2 I remember it was one of my first favourite games that's just stuck in my mind all my life. And a lot of people will have fond memories of it. As we saw with our poll, a lot of people do have fond memories. And I think that's basically because the storyline was so good. It was like a Hollywood movie in a time where, I think Metal Gear Solid was yet to come out. I think Metal Gear Solid was 98 as well. But it was a time where the PlayStation was really coming into its own. It wasn't just about blocky graphics and very simplistic storylines. It was a time where, they were really getting used to the hardware, and we started to really see great graphics coupled with excellent music and stuff. And, Leon was just a great character, and you really felt that he was scared because it was his first day on the job, and Raccoon City, there was a big outbreak again. And he had to fight his way through it. But for me, it definitely holds in my top 10. And you got 2 discs as well. You got Claire Redfield and Leon Kennedy. But the gameplay. You go back to it now, and I wouldn't say it's awful, but it's nice to play it in a kind of way that you would watch an old horror movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's so retro now, and just looking at it and thinking, wow, I used to think this was amazing. But, you know, the pre-rendered backgrounds, which were like paintings, they were really good as well. And you had your little digitized man in the front walking around. But, yeah, I wouldn't say I was scared of the game, but there was atmosphere to it. So much atmosphere in the police station. And you really felt like you were going on a journey and you were being hunted. And obviously back then, the whole point of being fair and stuff didn't really come into the game because the saves were few and far between. You could run out of ammo, you know, and you couldn't have any ammo to fight a room full of zombies. And I think that really upped the scare because you had to do things like ammo resources and make sure you've still got the shotgun shells there, which we don't really have to do anymore. We just shoot around everywhere. But yeah, Resident Evil 2, absolutely brilliant game. And it's a shame you two haven't played it because I feel like I'm just standing here talking. But yeah, Guy, that's definitely a game for you to pick up, mate, when you get your PS Vita.
I've played through the story on Umbrella Chronicles, but I haven't actually.
Yeah, there you go. So you have kind of played.
I can't remember it in any way. So
yeah.
Well,
otherwise, I'd have remembered that the Nemesis wasn't.
Yeah.
Actually,
a couple of years ago, I went on like a Resident Evil FAQ. That the FAQ was just somebody just written down the entire story of every Resident Evil game. So it was a bit like a short novel.
As if someone asked a frequently asked question of, does anyone know the whole history of Resident Evil?
No, it's just like somebody just wrote down the entire story of all the Resident Evil games. So I think it's really cool. Like the main thing that stands out about Resident Evil 2 in my mind is the concept. Just the concept of, instead of a mansion full of zombies, the entire city is zombies is insane.
Yeah. It's just a natural sequel. Where do we go now?
But like now, that's been done to death. Like Cities Full of Zombies, literally, it's just on TV as a weekly drama nowadays. But back then, it was just insane. The whole scale was you couldn't even fathom it in your mind, but you were playing it.
Yeah, I mean, zombies. We've become so desensitized that if a zombie was to break through my window now, I'd probably just carry on sitting here doing this podcast because zombies. I think they're losing all dignity and self-respect. You know, I know that it's not going to get to me if it's impaled itself on the glass. So I can just do this podcast, then I'll go over quite nonchalantly, maybe put a fork into its head, and then go back to bed.
Yeah.
Guy, what about you? If you're faced with zombies, how would you feel?
Well, I don't know.
You've got a bike, haven't you?
Yeah, I would. I'd just cycle away from them.
Yeah.
Forever.
So
Just
useless.
become like a lone wanderer on my bike. I hate people that are like, oh yeah, if there was a zombie apocalypse right now, I'd just go get a baseball bat and beat the shit out of all of them. It's like, you wouldn't.
Those people really get on my nerves, Guy.
If there was actually a zombie apocalypse, you would probably just shit yourself in fear. You wouldn't become some sort of badass all of a sudden.
Okay, Guy. A zombie apocalypse has just started right now. What do you do?
Shit myself in fear.
Excellent. But would you sit there in your shit, or would you clear it up after and then do something about it?
Well, I'd clear it up and then sort of...
Shit again.
Yeah.
It would just be an endless cycle until your bowels could no longer take it and they prolapsed.
I don't know. What would you do in a zombie apocalypse?
Gareth, go. Because I've already thought about it.
I don't know. The problem is, I don't think I'd be able to actually physically handle it. Like, I would see a bit of blood and just probably vomit.
There you go.
So
you two would be pretty useless. There'd be a guy in the
because
corner.
you just run away. Like that's
that's
the strategy. You run away from them. You win.
No,
the zombie
Gareth,
apocalypse.
we're talking 28 days later zombies.
Oh come on! They're not zombies.
Oh.
What are they then?
They're just angry. They're like the virus is
Angry
literally
zombies.
called rage. They're not dead.
Yeah.
They're just people who have to run up to other people and beat the shit out of them.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they don't eat people. They just
Bloody
beat
hell.
you up.
Yeah, so they're just like really angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, so what I would do, straight away, bang, zombie outbreak, I impregnate my girlfriend.
Of course.
I then get out of the city because the city will be overrun.
Yep.
People think, oh, I know, I'm going to go down the local Tesco, get myself a few baguettes, maybe some ham, some Pepsi, put it in my rucksack. Wrong. You know, you're going to be there, there's going to be loads of people around you, and you're going to be fighting for the same thing. Okay?
Okay.
So that's a no-no. You head to the countryside where there's not going to be as much disease, as much fighting, as much of the outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
You find a little farm, maybe. Hopefully the survivors are dead. Oh, well, they wouldn't be survivors then. Hopefully the preoccupied people before
Re-dead or just
will
dead?
be dead. Or I would kill them because, you know, you have to kill people. Survival of the fittest. Hopefully it'll be like an old couple that quickly would just go without much
Jesus
effort.
Christ.
I'll sit my girlfriend down. I'll say, don't worry about this. I'm going to go and get some milk from the cow, maybe kill a pig. We'll eat some of that. Even though I'm vegetarian, I'll stop being vegetarian because I don't think you could be so picky when there's a zombie outbreak.
No.
I wouldn't be able to go and get some, you know, corn. Although I might be able to if I go to Tesco's or Sainsbury's, because people probably wouldn't take that because they would have respect for vegetarians. I'll leave that for the vegetarians because they need to eat too. 9 months later, my wife has given birth and she's now lactating. So that's a source of nutrients for me and my unborn child.
Wait,
Yeah?
9 months, shouldn't it be born?
No, it's a few days late, Gareth.
Okay.
Yeah. Deliver my child, again, redo the cycle, pregnancy, birth. I've now got my own farm hands. We're building a few more buildings, crops. Then obviously incest takes place. 20 years down the line, there's the Walker clan, but they've all got kind of 1 foot bigger than the other. One of them's got a massive ear. One of them's got like one eye on the side of their head. But we survived the zombie outbreak, you know, and that's more than could be said for anyone. And I would take Guy in with his, you know, battered intestinal tract. And Gareth, you can come and live there as well, but don't take the mick out of any of my kin.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, is that cleared up now?
Clearly you've thought about this a lot.
Yeah, because there's a lot of countryside in central London.
It's true.
So I'm going to have to get moving.
But I think the main problem is we don't have any guns over here.
Oh,
America wouldn't have a problem with zombies at all.
Maybe that's what they're waiting.
I actually live very close to a gun shop.
What?
Guy, come on. Are you sure it's a
No,
gun shop?
I'm being... Yeah, I know, because
Is it not Toys R Us with
no
their
one in this
selection
town,
of Nerf
no one
rifles?
in this town knew it existed until about 2 months ago, when there was a huge news article about how like 30 shotguns were stolen from it.
Great.
One
so you've
night.
got 30
Night.
shotguns out on the loose where you live.
Yeah, apparently so. But well, that's the thing. It wasn't even. I said a big news article. It wasn't big at all. They had like the smallest article about it, and that was it for about 2 weeks. Then they were like, "Yeah, that the guns are still missing. If anyone, you know, has any
Has
information."
anyone heard a shotgun go off lately?
You should
But in
not
the
be
meantime, I was
advertising a pay rise.
in the meantime, I was
Yeah.
leaving my house thinking, "Oh, I'm going to get shot today." So,
With your bike and your pay rise.
all right, don't need to be.
But that's it, Guy. You know, they're probably stockpiling them for a zombie outbreak.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, mate? Well, unless anyone's got anything else to add to a zombie outbreak.
I think you've covered it all, really. With your
I
master plan.
have covered it all. And, you know, that's what it's about, being prepared.
I was a bit sad when they stopped doing the Resident Evil remakes on the GameCube before 2, because that would have looked amazing with the updated graphics.
What do you mean you would have liked them to do?
Like, you know, they remaked the first Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah.
And then they made Resident Evil 0 as like a prequel. But then
Yeah.
they just stopped. I think it would have been really cool to see Resident Evil 2 done in that more realistic style.
Yeah, it would. And I mean, that's definitely a game that I would like. Maybe even using the Resident Evil 4 engine. Kind of just going through that. I don't know if anyone played Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City.
I didn't. No, I was thinking about it, but
Yeah, that wasn't too good, to be honest. But again, that wasn't done by Cat
was it
or anyone.
was
that
it
had
as
a brain.
bad? Was it as bad as the films?
The films, to be honest, I watched one the other day, not having really watched any of the others. And if someone told me it was called Sixth Tractor Zombie, I wouldn't have argued. I wouldn't have said, "Hey, that's a Resident Evil film."
Yeah,
You know, it's got
it's got.
yeah,
There's nothing in it that's even slightly Resident Evil. I hate it. I hate the films.
yeah.
Films they're crap films, let alone crap films relating to Resident Evil.
So far away from what Resident Evil is.
I think that's really
Yeah.
interesting though, when they start trying to work it back in. Like the most recent one I saw, like Wesker was just at the end, like, let's all work together now. And it's basically like all the Resident Evil enemies just running towards a massive camp where Wesker's just got an army. And it was like, okay, this is stupid in a way that
Yeah.
I can enjoy. And I think I probably want to see more of those films.
There's one on Netflix that I watched the other day with who's the guy from Prison Break? Quick.
Oh, yeah.
Wentworth Miller
Yeah.
playing Chris Redfield, which I'm sure you'll agree is a great fit.
Wentworth Miller's a proper skinny twat.
Exactly, Gareth. That's what I'm saying. It's a
And Redfield's a
and if there's
beefcake.
one thing I hate, it's a bloody skinny twat. I like a lot of beefcake on my twat. What have we been playing this week, Guy? Gay? That's a mix between Gareth and Guy.
I'm not going first this
Literally.
time. Gareth can go first this time.
There we
I can go
on, Guy.
first. I have the privilege of going first.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will bestow this
Sloppy
privilege
seconds.
onto your being.
Let's see. This week, I completed Saints Row 4.
There we go.
Really enjoyed that. It's a good, fun game. It doesn't take itself seriously in any way, so you kind of just have to take it as it comes, and it's just a load of fun where you have superpowers and you kill the fuck out of an alien invasion, and it's pretty awesome. And then I played a bit of Battlefield 4 last night for the first time on my PC. It's hard when you don't know the maps. But that game seems stable now. I guess they've been patching it a lot because it seemed fine. I didn't have any glitches or any crashes.
Yeah.
I
mean, how do you fare online, Gareth?
how do I fare? How do I do? Am I good?
Yeah.
I'm alright. The thing about Battlefield is I don't have to be good at the shooting, which I'm not, to be good
Yeah.
at Battlefield. I can just hang back and resupply people or heal people or tag enemies or vehicles.
Just be an all-round helpful guy.
Yeah, and I still come in like the top 5 of the team or whatever because I'm just
Yeah.
really helpful all the time.
I've totally lost my edge on when it comes to those games. I think it's my age
Plus your unhelping nature.
and my unhelping nature. Yeah, I don't carry the blowtorch around with me, unfortunately, and I don't like pointing out enemies for other people to kill.
That's so fun though, because you can be pointing in a random direction and just hit the tag enemies thing, and you might tag somebody that was hiding miles away. and you're
I'd
like,
rather
"Yeah."
just to spite everyone, Gareth. Just spawn and then turn my back to the fight and just look in the opposite direction,
What?
just to be awkward. I'm not going to spot anyone for anyone. They can do it themselves. No one ever helped me when I was playing Call of Duty 4. I had to do it myself.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a Call of Duty
Don't-
mindset, isn't it?
That is true.
Any more, Gareth?
I think that's pretty much all I've played, but I am looking at a copy of Batman Arkham Origins right now, so next week I'll have that to talk about. I'm looking forward to playing that.
Have you read the back yet?
I'm renting it, so I didn't get any case with it. It's just coming in like a clear plastic thing.
Well, I think Guy will have that in his mind right now. Guy, can you refer to the back of the Batman Arkham Origins from your library of sleeves that you have taken from your local game shop?
I can't know because I don't have it. I haven't got around to getting it yet. Although I nearly bought the Arkham Collection the other day, which is Asylum, City, and Origins all in one pack for $32.99. But I didn't know.
You can get Origins for £20 surely now.
It's about £25-30 brand new, but you get all three of them together for like £32 brand new. So I thought, oh, I'll have a bit of that. But then I didn't have my ID with me, and despite being 20 years old and being in my work clothes, the stupid woman at game would not serve.
Oh, women hate it again.
You need a beard,
They do
mate.
really like to lord it over you, those women, don't they, Guy?
They just don't get me started. I laughed in her face when she asked me for ID. If it was an 18, I could have understood, but a 16.
Laughing in their face is no good, Guy. You want to put your hand down your trousers.
Because I thought she was taking
pull
a
out
piss.
your gland, hold it in your hand, look at her intensely in the eye, and say, "I will have you believe that I am over 18." She will be quite scared. She will go out the back of the game shop. She will send the manager through to speak to you. He'll say, "Yes, I know this guy. He's come in a few times. He's non-threatening, even though he does these actions. Please, can you serve him?"
Okay. But yeah, so long story short, I didn't actually get it in the end, which is a shame.
Well, what did you play, Guy?
Well, I've been carrying on with Bravely Default,
Mm-hmm.
as I do, trudging through that because that's too long. And Friday night, I borrowed the new Devil May Cry off my friend and then completed it Sunday. But it was excellent.
Cool. Clearly on the back of mine and Rob's glowing testimony on the last podcast. So we've made a sale there, Rob.
Partly,
Yeah.
and it was. I mean,
Well, a sale because he borrowed it off his friend.
now, is
That
it
money doesn't go to Capcom.
something I'm wondering? Is it a prequel or is it a
It's a reimagining, Guy.
reimagining?
Yeah,
Is it a reimagining?
it is a reimagining. I wouldn't lie to you about something like that.
I like the humour. I like it in the first level when he's jumping and there's things exploding and the white wig falls on his head.
Yeah,
And he sort of off. I thought that was
they're
stuff like
not,
that.
aren't they?
Yeah, it was good. I like the
It's not actually a wig though. It's a mop, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's a mop.
But Guy, come on, how good is the combat?
It's good. I don't really.
It's good.
You
And I
both
mean-
played it. You both know how good it is.
For someone who borrows it on Friday, played it again on Saturday, we were making love by Sunday, you know, and you completed it. For a guy that doesn't really like to play games that much, you've pretty much destroyed it, haven't you?
It's not that I don't like to play games.
No, but that is a glowing testimony.
No, it is. It was good. And I've just
You
started
actually
playing
managed
Son
to
of
play
Sparta as well. And it's
Yeah.
a hell of a lot harder.
Did you do the Bloody Palace?
I haven't done all of it, no.
It's not Bloody Palace as in, Bloody Palace. You know, you do think that sometimes when it gets
Have either of you
hard.
completed it all the way to the end?
No.
Well, it's different. It's different because on the last Devil May Cry, there was sort of, when you completed a floor, wasn't there an option to skip like 5,
Yeah.
10 at a time? And I was expecting it to be like that, and I thought I'll have a quick blast of it. And then as I was going up floor by floor, I realised that I actually did not have the time.
But you've got to be severely leveled up as well. You've got to have all your skills. You've got to have your health upgraded a few times if you want to have any chance to do that. I completed it like 3 times in a row.
Like, sometimes I can pull off some pretty nice combos and stuff, but then when it's loading and it just shows you a picture of Dante just like pulling off the most ridiculous combos using every single possible skill,
Yeah.
and it makes me wonder how people actually do that.
Thank you very much. It just basically takes a lot of dexterity and a lot of muscle memory. But, you know, obviously I played it through 3 times.
And also the, what's it called? Heaven and Hell mode. I haven't obviously unlocked that, but I would like to know how that's even possible. How it's even possible to complete the game without getting hit once.
Well, they can only get hit once as well, I believe.
There's a mode where they can't get hit once, I think there's a mode where...
Well, that just sounds utterly
take-
impossible.
do you know what I'm going to do while we're
Oh dear. You're not going to go on the old Googletron, are you?
Oh my God.
Googletron 2000.
No. You need to get a little jingle for Google. The Google
Yeah.
jingle. For all these jingles we really brilliantly utilise.
Yeah, it'd be quite good. It could be called Guy's Google Jingle.
You mean a jingle
And-
like this?
Here we go.
Well, you spoke over where the gap would be where I was going to...
Oh, sorry. Let's do it now.
Oh, what a jingle that was. That's a great
That was
jingle.
an absolutely great jingle.
That's Guy's
Did you know that
Google
yourself,
jingle.
Gareth?
Right, I cannot find this anywhere.
Excellent guy. Well,
We're never going to know. But basically, it's a great game, and I'm so glad I played it, and I'm not giving it back to my mate for a long time.
Mate, I don't think you should, and I'm not being rude, but I think if he asks for it, you should just, I don't know, tell him you've got a pay rise, throw £5 at him, and say, "Take that, you peasant."
Well, when I got, he still gets paid more than me, so that would just be.
Oh yeah. Well, then he can buy another one, can't he?
I would like to point out that my pay rise only brings me in line with the minimum wage for people over the age of 21.
Oh, so well, you're still doing
Really?
better than someone that's 21. So bask in the glory until you're 21 years old.
But yeah, I didn't download it off PS Plus when I got my subscription like an idiot because I was borrowing it and I thought, oh, I'll play it once or twice, then I might want to play it again.
Yeah,
and then,
there you go. Typical.
I meant to put it on download last night before it changed, and I missed it, didn't I? I forgot, so...
Oh, guy.
Okay. Well, at least...
On the bright side, I've got Bioshock to play
exactly.
in 5 minutes when this is over.
That's so good. PS Plus just kicks anything Games for Gold has to offer.
Yeah, it doesn't Games for Gold just offer old games or
Pretty
small
much.
games?
Hey guys, you want to play a game you completed 5 years ago? Yes, please. That would be absolutely fantastic.
Watch Dogs is good.
Watch Dogs isn't even out, Gareth. Have you been to the future? Have you been so far in the future?
Oh shit! What am I thinking? Sleeping Dogs
has been offered for free.
Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is good.
Would you rather Watch Dogs or Sleeping Dogs? Would you watch Sleeping Dogs?
I would gladly watch Sleeping Dogs.
But you got to let them lie.
But I wouldn't sleep with a watchdog.
No. Would you watch whilst someone else was sleeping with a dog?
What's the breed of dog?
You can get some of that stuff on the internet, mate. It's quite brutal.
Is this one of the Googletron things?
Yeah. Guy, if you could type in Doberman woman, watch.
That's a really crap superhero.
Yeah. Doberman woman. Oh, don't invite her. She's an absolute idiot.
Well, it's funny because although it doesn't come up with loads of porn,
yeah,
it comes up with a video called Doberman submissive to a baby girl.
Oh dear. Well, unfortunately, Guy won't be able to join us next week because his internet connection will be terminated by his provider and have a nice little visit there from the police.
Oh, there's nothing. It's all just videos of Doberman on YouTube, not really doing anything. So.
Not really doing anything. I was watching pug videos on YouTube the other day, funnily enough.
All right.
Because I do happen to be a rather large pug fan. Dog of choice, Gareth, go.
Oh, there are so many. I genuinely can't pick. Puppy. Any puppy.
Any puppy. That is a brilliant breed of dog.
Yeah.
Before they turn into a breed, they are a puppy. That's like the purgatory. Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? We don't know yet. Guy, go.
West Yorkshire Terrier.
But you couldn't ride it into battle.
No, I couldn't ride into battle, but I could throw it at the enemies.
You could. How many did you have?
Just have catapult launching West Yorkshire Terrier puppies.
Puppies?
Oh, whoa.
Puppy.
Oh, mate, you've gone too far with that. No, sorry.
In the art of combat first.
No. That's low.
Wait, what?
Right,
a picture of a Doberman that I just found.
You found a picture of a woman?
No, a Doberman.
A Doberman.
It's quite just there. I just thought I'd leave it there. So yeah.
That'd be quite nice. Right, so me, what have I been playing? I haven't been playing a lot, to be honest, because I've been primarily on the Xbox One, and as you know, games on the Xbox One seem to cost twice as much as on the actual current gen system. But because I'm a knob, I bought Assassin's Creed for £55.
Wow, holy shit.
I know, that is holy shit.
Holy crap, that's a lot of money.
But I had some gift cards left over from Christmas.
Okay.
And, there wasn't anything else that tickled my balls. So I basically took the plunge, even though I went halfway through it on the Xbox 360 version. I'm not sure about Assassin's Creed, though, because no matter how much I play it, I've played all four. And I've played the two spin-offs, Revelations and Brotherhood. I just don't feel like an authentic assassin. I feel like I'm always stumbling. I feel like I'm always doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And, there needs to be some kind of duck button. I don't mean like as in whack whack. That wouldn't be so cool. I'm talking more of a, you just duck down. Because sometimes I feel that there are things that are waist high and you've got an enemy looking at you and you're kind of just standing there and you're kind of looking over the box and you think, surely if I was an actual assassin, I would be crouched behind this box rather than just looking at the guy. And it's all things like that, and falling off a roof and then onto someone's head and little things like this. I feel more like I'm involved in some kind of assassin comedy film. I don't know about you, Gareth, if you've played
Carry On
before.
Assassination.
Yeah, that's something like that. Carry On Ass Sassing. It would be called something like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Assassin's Creed games at all.
Yeah.
You just feel like a clumsy oaf running around rooftops.
That's what I'm saying. You don't feel like an efficient killer.
Yeah.
You don't feel good. You don't feel that went perfect. It's kind of like, I feel like I bungle a mission a bit and then I'm kind of trying to do damage limitation.
Yeah.
Just trying to get out of the situation before it gets any worse. Like, oh God, I've just killed someone, but everything's gone crazy. I would like to maybe just get in there, kill someone, and then get out and just feel totally great. No, I've done it on a few occasions.
Yeah.
But, there's just something missing.
Isn't 4 easier to fulfill that, though, because you're just playing as like a drunken pirate? You just do whatever the fuck you want, you're a pirate. Who cares?
You are, but obviously it's still the same kind of dynamics of gameplay.
Okay.
It's all pretty much the same, where it feels pretty stiff, running along rooftops. And then you'll kind of walk up to the edge and be in the animation where he's trying to get down, but he doesn't quite get down, and you're just shaking on the edge of this roof. And then you can fall down, but then you fall on someone's head.
Yeah.
And people start getting angry with you. And you're never quite sure what you can and can't do with the guards. You'll climb up one building, and then it'll be fine, and you'll climb up another, and suddenly someone's seeing you, and then everyone starts trying to shoot at you, which is quite rude. And I think the whole animus side of it kind of holds the game back. I think it would be so much better if you were just in that world, because I think this kind of future setting where you go back into the past, it was okay at the beginning, but I think that's kind of been more and more pushed to the side. And I think they should have really made Assassin's Creed a kind of standalone series where you didn't have to keep going back to the future, if that is such a thing. But yeah, for me, Assassin's Creed, I do like it, but I never feel like I've truly mastered the game like you do with, say, Devil May Cry. I know it's a different type of game totally, but Guy, when you've got the weapons and you feel confident to go into any battle and that you're going to have any chance. With Assassin's Creed, I feel like I've only just done slightly less terrible than I did the time before. And it's always telling you what percentage you did the mission wrong. So you've only done it 80% because you didn't do this, and this. When I'm playing a game, I don't want to keep being reminded of what I've done wrong. And I think that's a problem with games mostly nowadays, is that they're obsessed with telling you what you've done wrong rather than just letting you play and feel like a badass.
Well, maybe probably not this year, but maybe next year when the Assassin's Creed games are being developed purely for the next gen, they might make it a bit more.
Yeah, and again, it's
bit
about
less-
the graphical
less
showcase
cheaper.
as well.
Not that I can talk because I've never played it, but
You never played it, Guy.
no, I haven't. No, played
Okay.
the first one for like 10 minutes. Well, about an hour, I think it was, and I hated it. But still going to get 4 soon because pirates. But
Just because of
Yeah.
pirates.
just because of pirates. Yep. Because I like pirates. I like the whole pirate setting
Well,
and stuff. So yeah.
there you go. Well, that was today's podcast. It's been a wonderful time, guys. Sometimes we've gone off on a tangent, but I think some of our survival techniques and methods, people can kind of adapt if they don't agree with them 100%. Obviously, where you're from, it affects it as well. What you can become, even if you've got a girlfriend, to produce lactose milk. There's all these little things that you need to take into account. Please note that mine is not a fail-safe method. It's not going to work 100% with everyone. You must adapt it. Don't come back to me and say, hey, Rob, I heard this, I've tried it, but it's not worked. It may not work for some people. Anything else you guys want to get off your chest?
Well, that's the thing. Podcasts, anyone can sit down and do a podcast, but I think we've gone above and beyond today with our educational, informative
we've not only just talked
speakings about how to survive,
but we've also told people how to survive a zombie apocalypse. And you can't get that kind of information anywhere these days.
No, you can't.
You've
got bloody idiot tools like Google, but Google doesn't have any answers really.
Google won't have the answers because they're too scared to give them to people. They want everyone to die and kill themselves so they can pick up where they left off. Google will probably be the ones that release the virus, Guy.
Yeah, Google are just the umbrella corporation.
They are.
Just under guys. Well, there you go.
Is there any other great revelations that you'd like to unleash, Gareth?
About the zombie apocalypse?
Yeah, anything that you've kind of noticed over the last few days? Anything that just seems a little bit out of the ordinary.
What a weird question.
Thank you very much.
Anything
that's kind of stuck out that you thought, I feel a zombie apocalypse coming on.
Well, I mean, if a zombie apocalypse happened now, the weather would just straight up destroy them all anyway. As soon as it gets a little bit icy, they'd just be slipping, breaking bones. They wouldn't be able to get back up. They'd all be dead within a week. And it'd be fine.
That's actually quite a good idea, actually. So, everyone, if a zombie outbreak happens tonight, don't worry about it. Just wait for them all to kill themselves on the ice.
Yeah.
And that's not anyone just saying that. That's Gareth Williams.
Yeah. Even without ice, though, they'd just be falling down curbs, breaking their necks. It wouldn't be a problem. We'd be fine.
Today's world just isn't built for an effective zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
You've got lifts and stairs and everything. The zombie's going to get a lift and not know what to do.
If anything, all these wheelchair ramps and stuff is just helping zombies. Really, we should just get rid of all the wheelchair ramps.
Well said. No, that's good as well. We're really getting somewhere because it's allowing people to get into public buildings. Shopping centres where there is a big build-up of people. The last thing we need is zombies in those sort of places.
I think before this gets too discriminative to disabled people, we should probably wrap it up, I think.
Disabled people will bring along the apocalypse. They are in league with the zombies.
Oh, no.
And I don't think that's discriminating. I'm sorry. Okay. I just don't.
Okay. And also, if you take away all of the disability support to get into public places, if the disabled turn into zombies, we can all just hide in shopping centres.
We could.
So it's a double-edged sword. It's a win-win for everyone.
There we go.
Except for the disabled.
There we go.
I think if they're disabled, they already lost, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, it all depends, doesn't it? Really.
I'd just like to point out now that none of us have actually got anything against people of a disabled background, apart from Guy, who was saying some rather awful comments before we started the podcast. But that's it for this week. If you would like to hear some more insane rambling, then we're back on the same time next week. Guy, thank you very much. It's been beautiful.
I enjoyed it as always.
Thank you very much. And Gareth, thank you.
Thank you, and go to the website, gamebanter.co.uk.
Oh,
yeah, got it in. And thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob, for hosting this thing.
Yeah, thank you.
And in genuinely being Rob.
Thank you very much. That's not going to go in. It cuts off when I go. That's not actually a jingle or anything.
Right.
Okay.